Hey, so I wanted to try something different. I've done this with a couple of our other categories. So this is going to be what my April picks are in terms of the hype stock category. So if you're unfamiliar, and I'll just jump right into it. So the number one pick is going to be Curaleaf. Second is Shopify. Third is Enphase, and then the fourth one is going to be Crispr. And So here's all the ones in the category, and you can see the percentage growth in share price that I'm kind of estimating at this point. We have the low percentage increase and the high percentage increase. And right now it's just ranked in order of the low. And so you can see what I'm currently projecting would be possibly like a 19% return on Crispr by the end of the year, all the way up to a 56% return by the end of the year. And that's based on today's price and just where I think it'll go. This column kind of goes into the price points that I think it could go into. Most of them are ranges. On a couple, I do have like a reach goal that I think is possible. I think Teladoc is the one that stands out the most, where I do give it a range, but I could easily see it really shoot off. And so that's one of the outliers where it could end up making nothing, just kind of trade flat and just bounce around throughout the year, or it could grow over 100%. I could see both ways happening. We'll continue to follow it, dig into them, see what I want to start to skew towards as the year goes by, and then we'll reach, a final destination at the end of the year, and then we'll uh, try it again going forward, hopefully get better. But these are the four that I'm picking, and so I'll go into it strictly off technicals. I'll share some insights if I can along the way. And I'd be curious to know what you think of these price points, where you would estimate it to be uh, based on what we're looking at. Um, yeah, I'd just be curious. So starting off with Curaleaf, uh, this one is at all-time lows. We're down here at about $2. I had a buy point of 4. Overall, I think by the end of the year, that's what this black bar is. It's technically December 29th. Uh, it wouldn't lock onto the exact year end, but that's close enough. And then we have this black box. That's the range that I think it could fall between. And going back to just like my original like thesis for this stock, where the red line seems to be a resistance point, the blue seems to be more of like a fair value, where it kind of maybe tops out a little bit based on uh, past performance, and then the green seemed like it was strong support, so I felt like that was a decent time to buy. Then more recently, it dropped all the way to 3, and now we're at 2. And if we zoom in, it looks like that might be the new support line. We will see, because we've seen a similar pattern down here. But again, just going forward to the end of the year, I think there's a decent chance that this one will climb back into what I still believe to be a fair range for this stock of about $4 to $6. That's pretty much based on like revenue and how much revenue they make. I realize they still operate at a loss, but I think the potential is there. And when it comes to these smaller stocks, they can grow very quickly just because uh, the stock price is so small. So I will continue to add this. And again, so to go to this bottom point, we're estimating that's about 100% growth. The top point, that's 200% growth. And it's not that far. It looks kind of far based on our zoomed in focus, but that's really just a $2 jump and a $4 jump. So let me know what you think about that one. Next, we have Shopify. This is my number 2. This one I had a low point of 69% return. In other words, $62 based on today's price point of 48, and a high point of 79 or 65%. And so that is this box marked out here. This one, I guess sticking with the news point, the things that I remember from last time we touched on it was They're in this 6-month uptrend, still continue to be in that 6-month uptrend. They're working with Google to help their search feature. I think that'll help drive revenue for that company. Not sure how long it'll take to install. Honestly, it might already be installed, but letting kind of it, I think there's a decent chance that it could continue this uptrend fashion, and that's kind of why I put the projection box where it is. I'm not going to draw these out, but you can kind of visualize it, that this corner would kind of touch the top, and this would be somewhere in that bottom half. I think that's kind of reasonable. And again, if we go to here, this is 29% and that's 65%. If we kind of zoom back out to the original thesis, this one, we have a couple red lines marked out here. If we zoom in closer, the original lines were this green line down here, the blue line being the fair value, and then the red being expected resistance. As time passes, I could easily see drawing in a second one, and I might just do that now. One other potential avenue is that we trade somewhere in here, like we might start consolidating at some point. I don't think that'll be the case. I think people will start spending again in the near future, especially in the second half. And so I do kind of believe that it's more likely that this is going to happen. So for now, I'm going to delete that box because I'm more set on the range that I first stated, and we're going to stick with that for now. And also just the fact that, I mean, this company has grown so rapidly and for a good period of time. I think it's worth that type of price. But again, we'll just continue to watch this and see how it plays out. The next one we have up here, number 3, is Enphase. The price points that I picked, again, this one might be a reach. The reason why I put it so high when we're still down here is mainly because the fact that this market that they're in, this solar market, it's supposed to have about a 20% continual annual growth rate over the next like 9 years. And so the thing that worries me is right now, even at this price, this stock trades at something like an 80 price to earnings ratio. And again, there's companies out there a lot higher. I think Nvidia, it's at like 150, but the market average is normally 20. And so I think if we don't really focus on price to earnings, but instead we just continue to see them beating their quarterly reports or expectations, we continue to see higher revenue followed by what would be nice is a higher profit margin and net income. If we see those, I do think this range is in all likelihood possible, similar to Shopify. The other route that could happen is, we could just kind of consolidate in this range somewhere in here, just kind of be flat for the rest of the year. That's possible. But again, just the growth story behind this, right now at this point, I think there's enough time to reach this type of end goal. So we're going to keep that in for now. Once we circle back to this and do like an Enphase only type video, this one clearly has broken trend, and that's what's also kind of giving me a little faith to keep this range as opposed to a more flat range. But again, as time passes, this will update over time until we zone into a just a better idea of how things will play out. But again, so the bottom point that we chose for Enphase was 280, and that's about a 25% return, versus the top, which is also what I believe in the realm of possibilities right now, is 313, and at a price of 224, that would be a 40% return. So we'll see how this plays out. Keep in touch. And then the fourth and final one is Crispr. So Crispr, and we can make this box a little tighter. With Crispr, so CRISPR's currently at 54 right here. Last time we checked on them, I think a divergence is going to happen soon, and this is based off um, their therapy or their blood treatment for sickle cell disease, and I think there's something else like beta thalamin or something. They have uh, they're making progress towards having this first sickle cell blood treatment uh, available to the public, and each one of the shots, which is meant to be like a one shot cures all type thing, apparently one shot's going to be about $2 million, and apparently one in every like 360 black or African American people have sickle cell disease, which is nuts when you think about it. And then, of course, I'm not sure how many people have this beta thalamin. I'm not sure if that's just a synonym for it, or I'm pretty sure it's its own thing. I was new to that one. But this shot is meant to alleviate that, like be a treatment for that too, with like a 97% cure rate. So just saying, if that works and works as well as probably a lot of people think, honestly, this could be too low. But uh, alternatively, the reason why we have it in that range is, this might not pull through, and we might see a downtrend, and then yeah, this is going to change drastically. But if we zoom out, I think it's reasonable. If we look at, the original storyline that we saw, we had a resistance point of 90, a fair value range between 71 and 58. That's the blue lines. And then a buy point at 45. This company has a lot of potential. I mean, at one point it was in the 200s. I think this year it's possible that they could finish in the upper 70s, maybe low to mid 80s. I think that's very doable, and especially if they get that approval, I will 100% back this, and if anything, probably raise the bar a little bit. But for now, I think that's a conservative estimate. And so this one's range, if I didn't mention it before, the bottom is 64. That's what I'm currently projecting, and the top is 84. If it were to reach just that bottom, that would be a 19% return, pretty good. And if it would reach the top, that's 56% return in about 8 months. Just saying. But we'll continue to watch these. Those would be my top ones to buy at this point, just based on what I think their potential is today. Hopefully we wrap up into or follow up on this in May, and see how things change, if at all. Preferably things will kind of stay the same, which will be good for us, but if things change, again, we'll be flexible here as we're still learning. But yeah, if you have any questions or want to share what you think a good price point would be for any of these, or if you think there's a hype stock that I should type, and by hype stock, I'm referring to a stock that could grow or fall very rapidly because either they're new or they have such a unique product that revenues fluctuate. If you kind of look at the list, hopefully that kind of gives a sense of what a hype stock would be. So yeah, if you have any suggestions on that too, I'd be open to it. Always looking for a good investment. But outside of that, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.